There will be times in your life when the pressure feels like too much, when nothing seems to be going right, when people push your limits, and when your emotions beg you to react without thinking. In those moments, many people give in. They panic, they snap, or they make quick choices that they later regret. But the people who truly lead, inspire, and rise above, the strongest, most disciplined, and most effective individuals have all learned one key skill: staying calm and thinking clearly under pressure. Pressure doesn't change who you are, it reveals who you really are deep inside. When challenges and stress close in on you, your true self steps forward. Anyone can appear confident when life is easy. Anyone can act patient when nobody's pushing their buttons. Anyone can feel in control when nothing serious is going on. But the minute real pressure appears, those masks come off. Just think about how often you've seen someone handle stress poorly. It might have been a boss who lost their temper, a teammate who couldn't handle the moment, or even yourself reacting in a way that didn't make you proud. The truth is, those situations didn't cause the reaction, they simply showed what was already within. Pressure doesn't create weakness, it brings it into the open. That's why it's so important to pay attention to how you respond when life gets tough. If your first reaction is panic, that's a sign of something to work on. If you feel angry or frustrated right away, that tells you where you need to grow. If you shut down, run away, or act without thinking, it's not the moment that's making you that way, it's revealing the level of control you currently have. And the good news, just because pressure shows who you are now, doesn't mean you can't become someone stronger. You look at any top leader, respected figure, or successful person in any field, they all have something in common. They've trained themselves to stay grounded, calm, and clear-minded under pressure. They weren't born like that. They didn't get lucky or inherit some special gift. They earned that control through self-awareness, focus, and steady practice. They understood that pressure is a test, and like any test, it's something you can prepare for. You can build the skill of staying composed. You can teach yourself to slow down and respond with purpose instead of reacting with emotion. It begins by facing the truth of where you are now. Start noticing what triggers your emotions. What situations make you feel stressed or out of control? What kind of pressure causes you to lose your cool? Is it short deadlines, uncomfortable conversations, or surprises that throw you off? Once you figure out your pressure points, you can begin working on them. One way to improve is to put yourself in small, controlled pressure situations on purpose. Stretch beyond your comfort zone regularly. If you always avoid discomfort, you'll never get better at managing it. Look for situations that challenge you to stay calm, like public speaking, physical endurance tasks, or making fast decisions. The more you train in small ways, the more ready you'll be for the big moments. Another powerful shift is to change how you view pressure itself. Most people fear it. But what if you began to see pressure as a sign that you're doing something that matters? Pressure means you're trusted with responsibility. It means you're growing. The best performers in the world don't wish for less pressure. They train so they can handle more of it. Remember, how you handle pressure doesn't just affect you, it shapes everyone around you. If you're a leader, others look to you during stressful times. If you're a parent, your children learn how to manage emotions by watching you. If you're on a team, your attitude helps set the tone. You're either adding to the calm or adding to the confusion, so when pressure strikes, pause for a moment. Understand that this is your opportunity. This is your moment to show what you're made of, and if you don't like what you see, use that as motivation to grow stronger. Because pressure doesn't make you who you are, it reveals you. And who you become from that point forward, that's completely up to you. In stressful, frustrating, or high-pressure moments, your natural instinct might be to react instantly. But the problem is that instant reactions are usually led by emotion, not reason. Acting without thinking can lead to regret, broken trust, or bad outcomes. There's one simple tool that can change that completely: the pause. That short pause between feeling and acting can be life-changing. Taking a pause before reacting is the difference between saying something hurtful and saying something wise. It's the difference between making a rash choice in panic and making a thoughtful one that benefits you later. It's the gap between losing control and keeping your composure. Most people don't pause. They let emotions take over, they react fast, raise their voice, snap in anger, or rush decisions just to feel relief. But afterward, when things calm down, they often feel regret. They see the damage and wish they had taken a moment to handle things differently. Here's what's powerful. No matter how intense the situation, you always have the ability to pause. No matter how much someone tests your patience or how serious the problem seems, there's always that brief space, just a few seconds, where you can take a breath, step back, and decide how to respond. That small pause can change everything. Think about a time you acted too quickly and later regretted it. What if you had paused? What if you had taken a deep breath before speaking or acting? Things likely would have gone much better. Pausing gives you control over yourself. It separates your feelings from your actions. It allows your brain to think more clearly. Instead of being hijacked by stress or anger, it helps you go from acting on impulse to responding with purpose. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. So how do you build that habit? First, recognize your triggers. Notice what situations make you feel pressured, anxious, or reactive. Is it criticism, confrontation, or unexpected change? Awareness is the first step to control. Second, use physical cues. When your body feels tense, when your heart beats faster, or your voice wants to rise, those are signs to pause. Take one deep breath. Count slowly. Remind yourself that you have a choice. These small actions signal to your mind that you're in control. Third, ask yourself one simple question. What's the best response for the future? Not what feels good now, not what's easiest, but what choice will serve you and others long term. When you think this way, your responses become more mature and thoughtful. And don't ever believe that pausing is weakness. It's not about hesitation or backing down. It's a strategic decision. It shows strength. The strongest leaders, best negotiators, and most successful people don't act on impulse. They pause, reflect, and choose their actions wisely. Everyday life will give you chances to choose between reaction and reflection. The more you choose to pause, the more power you'll gain over your emotions, your behavior, and your future. In that small moment between emotion and action is your greatest strength. Finally, remember that the way you see a situation affects how you handle it. Most people think stress, pressure, and problems are things to avoid. But what if they weren't obstacles? What if they were part of your path forward? What if the very struggle you're facing is what's shaping you into who you need to become? Reframing your thoughts, shifting your perspective, is one of the most powerful tools you have. It doesn't mean pretending everything is easy. It means choosing to find meaning and growth, even in the hard parts of life. The best performers, leaders, and thinkers don't deal with less stress than others. They simply view it differently. Instead of thinking something is too difficult, they believe it's making them stronger. Instead of saying they're nervous, they say they're excited. Rather than seeing failure as the end, they treat it as a lesson. Picture two people facing the same problem. One sees it as a block, feels frustrated, and gives up. The other treats it like a challenge, a test of strength, and keeps moving forward. The difference isn't in what they face, it's in how they think about it. Your brain reacts to what you say to yourself. If you believe something is too much, your body starts to panic. But if you tell yourself, I can handle this, your brain looks for ways to solve it. Reframing isn't pretending things are easy. It's choosing a better way to think about a problem. Asking better questions helps too. Try, what can I learn from this? Instead of, why me? Or, how can this help me? Instead of, this is unfair. These small changes shift stress from being something that holds you back into something that pushes you forward. Think back to tough times in your life, maybe a failure or a hard moment where nothing felt right. Back then, it might have seemed like everything was falling apart. But when you look back now, didn't you gain something from that experience? Didn't it make you stronger or teach you a lesson? Most people don't notice the value in a moment until years later. They only realize how it helped after the fact. But what if you could see it differently while it's still happening? That's the real power of shifting your mindset. It can change how you experience life right now, not just in the future. Even small daily stresses can be reframed. Instead of saying, I have to do this task, say, I get to do this. That change in wording brings a sense of appreciation. It turns pressure into possibility. The words you use shape your thinking. Your thinking shapes your results. Every hard moment holds both a challenge and a chance to grow. Most people focus only on the difficulty. But if you train yourself to spot the opportunity, you'll manage pressure better, think more clearly, and stay in control. You don't always have control over what happens around you, but you always have control over how you respond. When stress, fear, or pressure builds up, it can feel like a storm in your mind. Your thoughts race, emotions rise. You might feel like you're losing control. But what if the way to calm your mind wasn't through your thoughts, but through your breath? Breathing is powerful, yet many ignore it. It happens automatically, so we don't think much about it. But the way you breathe affects your mood, thoughts, and reactions. When you're anxious, your breath gets short and fast. This tells your brain that something's wrong. Your heart speeds up, your muscles tighten, and your mind stops thinking clearly. Even small problems seem big. But just as stress changes your breath, you can use your breath changes your stress. Slow, steady breathing tells your brain everything is okay. It calms your heart, relaxes your body, and sharpens your mind. That's why athletes, soldiers, and doctors practice it. They know that in high-stakes moments, breath control is the key to staying focused. And the best part? You can use this skill in your everyday life, too. You don't need to face a life-or-death situation to benefit from breath control. It works in regular moments, too, before a meeting, during a tough conversation, or when you're unsure about what's next. The technique is simple. Breathe in slowly through your nose, hold it for a moment, then breathe out even more slowly. This small shift calms your nervous system and clears your mind. Why does it work? Because breathing is one of the few body functions that you can control. Things like your heartbeat or digestion happen without your input. But breathing is different. You can let it happen naturally or take charge of it. When you do, you gain control of your feelings, your responses, and your thinking. Think back to a time when you felt overwhelmed. How was your breathing? Probably fast, shallow, or maybe you were holding your breath. Now imagine if you had stopped to take a few deep breaths. Would you have felt calmer, made a better choice? Using your breath as a tool takes practice, but it becomes easier over time. When stress hits, pause, breathe deeply. In just a few moments, you'll feel a change, both in your body and your mind. In today's world, full of distractions and demands, staying calm is a powerful advantage. The ability to think clearly when everything feels overwhelming is rare, but possible. And the key to unlocking this ability is already inside you. Your breath controls your thoughts. If you master your breathing, you gain control over how you act in stressful situations. Emotions can be intense. When pressure builds, logic often disappears. Most people let emotions drive their behavior. They act on impulse, say things they regret, or make poor decisions. But the most focused and successful people take a different path. They pause. They step back from their feelings and keep their eyes on the result they want. This doesn't mean ignoring emotions. It means noticing when emotions are taking over and choosing not to let them lead. It's about creating space between how you feel in the moment and how you choose to respond. When you let emotions control your choices, you become reactive. You let short-term feelings shape long-term outcomes. But if you stay focused on your bigger goals, you make decisions with purpose, not emotion. Think of a time when someone said something that hurt you or misunderstood you. Your first instinct might have been to fire back or defend yourself. But did reacting like that fix anything, or did it just make things worse? Now imagine if, instead of reacting, you paused and asked yourself, what do I really want here? Would you have handled it differently? The ability to step back from emotions is a skill. Like any skill, it needs to be learned and practiced. The first step is being aware. When you feel a strong emotion rising, like anger, stress, or fear, recognize that you're at a decision point. You can let the feeling take over, or you can choose to take the lead. One helpful technique is to name the emotion. Instead of saying, I'm angry, try, I feel anger. That small change creates distance. It reminds you that emotions are temporary. You are not your feelings. You experience them, and because of that, you can manage them. The next step is to shift your thinking. Ask, what's the smart move here? Or what will help me in the long run? This mindset leads to better outcomes. Top athletes, business leaders, and high performers don't make their decisions based on how they feel in the moment. They base their choices on what will give them the best results. If showing strength helps, they do that. If staying calm is smarter, they choose that instead. They don't let momentary emotions knock them off track. Think of a poker player. They don't show excitement or frustration, no matter what cards they get. They stay steady. They know that showing emotions can give away too much and affect their strategy. The same principle applies in life. If you can keep your mind calm, even in tough situations, you make smarter decisions. You protect your focus, your relationships, and your future. It doesn't mean never feeling anything. It means learning when to pause, breathe, and think before you act. That's how you stop emotions from running your life. Instead, you learn to guide them and use them to your advantage. Staying calm isn't about being cold. It's about staying in control. And when you master that, you're not just reacting to life anymore, you're leading it. Sitting at a table, a person might lose a big hand and feel frustration rising. The urge to act on impulse becomes strong, but a true professional understands that reacting emotionally only harms their long-term success. So instead, they pause, take a breath, reset their focus, and approach the next hand with a calm and clear mind. Life works in a similar way. Every situation is like a new hand being dealt. Your role isn't to complain or react emotionally, but to respond wisely and with focus. The third part of learning how to detach is practicing patience. Many poor choices are made when people rush into decisions. When you slow down, take a step back, and allow the first burst of emotion to fade, your thoughts clear up. Before making a major choice, sending an emotional message, or saying something you might later regret, give yourself some space. What feels like an emergency in the moment is often not. Clarity doesn't come from speed, it comes from stillness, and in those moments, remind yourself of this: staying calm in the middle of chaos always gives you the most strength and control. When others get overwhelmed and emotional, they lose direction. But if you stay focused on the result and not on your temporary emotions, you stay in control. Detaching from emotion doesn't mean you don't care or that you become cold. It simply means you make sure your emotions work for you, not against you. The next time you feel your emotions building up, pause, breathe deeply, and shift your focus. Instead of staying stuck in how you feel, start thinking about what you want to accomplish. Because true success doesn't come from reacting to everything around you. It comes from responding with purpose and keeping your end goal in mind. When pressure hits and the stakes feel high, most people lean on hope. They hope they'll stay calm, hope they'll say the right thing, hope they'll make a smart move. But hope isn't a real plan. If you wait for the moment to decide how to act, it's usually already too late. Those who perform well under pressure aren't lucky, they're ready. The people who stay sharp and make clear choices in chaos have prepared in advance. Think about the most disciplined professionals in the world, top athletes, elite military teams, and world-class leaders. They don't just show up hoping they'll do well. They train again and again for every kind of situation. They challenge themselves under pressure before the real test even begins. They practice hard conversations before they're needed. They train themselves to make good choices while under pressure, so when that moment arrives, they don't have to stop and figure it out, they just act. If you wait until life throws stress at you to learn how to stay calm, you'll probably break down. If you wait for conflict to happen to learn how to stay composed, you'll likely respond with emotion. If you wait until an opportunity appears to start building confidence, you may hesitate and miss it. Preparing yourself ahead of time is what separates people who succeed from those who struggle. So, how do you get ready for pressure before it shows up? The first step is building self-awareness. You have to understand which situations challenge you the most. Do you avoid tough conversations? Do you feel panic when faced with big decisions? Do you get overwhelmed when deadlines are tight? You have to know what your weaknesses are before you can start improving them. The second step is what's called controlled exposure. That means facing the situations that stress you out on purpose. If public speaking makes you nervous, then start by speaking in front of small groups until it feels easier. If feedback hurts your feelings, then ask for it often so you get used to hearing it. If you freeze when it's time to make big decisions, practice making small and quick choices each day. You don't rise to the level of your hopes, you fall to the level of your training. The more you expose yourself to pressure in a safe way, the more prepared you'll be when real pressure shows up. That's how mental strength is built, by doing the hard things before you need to. The third step is mental practice. Top performers don't just train their bodies, they train their minds. They imagine high-pressure moments before they happen. They see themselves staying calm, thinking clearly, and solving problems confidently. When others panic, they stay grounded. Your brain doesn't fully know the difference between real experience and a clearly imagined one. If you often picture yourself handling stress the right way, your mind will follow that pattern when pressure arrives. This type of mental rehearsal creates a strong habit of confidence and calm. The fourth step is recovery. Training to handle stress isn't only about being strong in the moment. It's also about knowing how to recover from it. The best performers don't let stress pile up. They have routines like breathing exercises, meditation, physical activity, or journaling to help them reset their mind. Without good recovery habits, stress will keep building inside you, and eventually it will wear you down. Recovery is not optional, It's part of long-term performance. The final step is to treat failure as practice. A lot of people avoid challenges because they're afraid of messing up. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the path to it. Every high-pressure moment you face, whether you handled it well or poorly, can be a valuable lesson. If you take time afterward to think about what worked and what didn't, you'll come back stronger next time. The aim is not to be perfect. The aim is to train so well that your mistakes get smaller and your learning gets faster. Pressure is something everyone faces. Stressful situations are guaranteed to come. What really matters is how ready you are when they show up. The difference between the people who fall apart under pressure and the ones who grow through it isn't natural talent, it's preparation. Train yourself before the moment comes, and when it does, you won't need to rely on hope. You'll simply perform.